All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my Unemployed with a PhD podcast stream. We are back again. I'm gonna make it a daily thing, hopefully. Thank you, Mac, for joining us for the second day in a row. Today, I want to discuss '90s movies, and you might see it might seem like one of those nerdy film things where, like, oh, let's pick an era and talk about it, but no, because look, I was born in '95 and I didn't see it probably all the '90s movies, and I did see some of them, but I noticed that this decade has something special. I don't know why. We're gonna discuss it now, but the movies there are kind of untouched. The quality is just
Mm-hmm.
amazing. The writing is amazing. The acting is
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and I probably didn't see any garbage watching movies from them. Now, you might argue it's because only the good ones remain until later and all of that, but it's
Of
just
course.
whenever I see one of those '90s movies, I'm just wow. It stays in my mind, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a coincidence. There has to be something about that decade that stands
Uh,
out.
it's exactly right. It is a decade thing. It's a generational thing. The '90s, I like to call the '90s movies. They're like the PlayStation 2 of cinema. The PlayStation 2 is the greatest video game console of all time. Not because it has the best video games of all time. There's definitely arguments that games that are created today are incredibly superior in so many metrics to games from the '90s or from the '80s. But there's a reason why games like Legend of Zelda, or I'm sorry, there's a reason why games on the PlayStation 2. I don't want to get into too specifics of old winners, but that's an N64 game anyways. There's a reason why PlayStation 2 carries so much weight and carries so much weight today, and it's because there's such a massive variety of quality games. Nowadays, if you're going to play a low quality game, you're expecting really low quality. If you're going to play any, if you're not playing a AAA game, there's a very high chance you're either going to get something really well polished and 20 minutes long, or you're going to get something that's pretty spacious and really low quality. They don't have a lot of resources to dump into it, or it's like a one, two, three, 10 person job. When, as we know, making a game is much like making a movie. It's a multiple team event. But the '90s movies, like the PlayStation 2, have this massive library of just incredible movies, and everything from blockbusters all the way down to just campy little B movies. They just stand out to you, like The Matrix, 1999, into the end of the decade. You know what I'm saying, the beginning of the millennia. In my opinion, is it's my favorite movie of all time. I think that's it is. I can watch The Matrix any day of the week. I could talk about The Matrix. I actually, you don't watch The Matrix with me, forewarning, because I'm just gonna say every line as it's happening. I'm just gonna quote it verbatim because it's so memorable. There's so many scenes. There's so much effort that went into it. It it just peaks across every facet, like writing, the cinematography, the acting, the cast choicing, the costume choicing, the soundtrack, the sound design. Like every single thing of the Matrix is perfect. That's not true for the little B movies that are campy. You look at movies like Starship Troopers. That is kind of a campy, silly movie. It comes from much more serious subject matter. The book is incredible. And I mean, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from Starship Troopers, like, you know what I'm saying, fascist, totalitarian, authoritarian, like ruling class type things. But the movies are still really fun. The movies are really incredibly well done. I could literally put it on right now and binge the whole thing. And that's because the quality of '90s movies is really high. But also because I think the '90s was one of the last decades. It was actually the last decade in like U.S. cinema where we see the quality, like the amount of resources dedicated to a project, matched by the art
Mm-hmm.
involvement. There's so much art involved. That's a craft. This whole creative industry is art craft. It's writing is an art. There's science to it, yes. Shooting film is there's art to it, but there's science to it, of course. But like it's all art. It's all the inspiration, the drive for it, having an eye for it, having the vision for it. Like that's something people are born with, and you can kind of teach it, but like you have to be that kind of person. You have to be an artist. And I think again in the '90s and again, like the PlayStation 2, that's when people really got their last chance to like put comparable resources. You're not limited to 80s tech on a game console or shooting footage or 80s CGI. No, it's the 90s, man. We got some budget in this thing. We can afford to put some pretty decent CGI as long as it's fast, as long as it's just shortcut, as long as it's not like drawn out or anything. You can afford to have some really solid practical effects because we don't want to do CGI for this scene. It's too long. It would look too bad if we did long exposure. So let's do practical effects. 90s practical effects. Jurassic Park. What? Steven Spielberg was going crazy back then. Like I was gonna say Jaws. Obviously, it's an '80s movie, but I mean that's the craft right there. Like it's being able to put as much of the art as you can into this thing in this project, and having the resources to match it and the skill set to match it. We have the skills and the resources today, but we're burdened by the dollar. Money is the bottom dollar. Money is the bottom line. If that's the priority, like paying your producers, paying your acting, paying your staff, that's secondary. Ensuring like solid working conditions and a comparable schedule for things, that's secondary. Pushing back a film so that it's perfect when it comes out, that's secondary. That's secondary. We have to get money. That's the goal now. And so that means that the shift has occurred. We're like, okay, we need to prioritize now, you know what I'm saying, the resource, time, that means time, money, personnel, and then it's like, all right, but this down here kind of has to pull back some. Hey, the writers need more time to work on this. We don't have time. The writers had their time.
I mean,
we can do.
The writers always need more time. It's like, no movie is perfect. Yeah. You just
give writers more time. Give writers more time, all the time they need.
It's interesting how you related the 90s movies with the PlayStation 2, because PlayStation 2 is still until now the most sold console ever. And
the greatest console of all time. Yeah.
Exactly. So this tells you that it's not really about how the graphics or
exactly,
or because in the end, what you're doing is you're telling a story, and it's just about how good the story you're telling is. Yes. So that's a really important point. So you feel that the PlayStation 2 is the equivalent of 90s movies. It's just the ultimate peak was reached.
I do want to emphasize that there are games out today. I would emphasize, like, look at Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, one of the greatest games of all time, in the running in many lists and many metrics of one of the greatest games of all time, like top 5, top 10, easily top 10, top 5. But when you look at games like Breath of the Wild on the Switch, that is a Zelda game that has everything bigger and better and more powerful, and on a more powerful engine, and with triple the amount of gameplay and world space. Like or actually way more than triple. Breath of the Wild is massive compared to the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That game, that little ranch you have to run around on, felt so big when you were a little kid, but nowadays, like, if I go play that on my phone because it's an N64 game and my iPhone can handle it, or I go play it on an emulator on the Switch, like, it's just a small game. Like, you can really beat it in like a few days. Like, it's really not that big. You can't beat Breath of the Wild in a couple days. That game is massive. There's so much to do. But again, in quality of movies, you look at things like sequels. Why are our sequels? These movies come out in 2022, 2023, and it's like, oh, it's a sequel to a 90s movie. And so, okay, we could easily get the cast back in there because they're not dead. We could easily hire incredible sound designers and musicians and composers because it's 2025 and the world is packed full of them. But I mean, we have the technology and we have the resources. The people exist out there. But there's contracts, obligations, and bidding wars, and strikes, and improper paying for some people, and there's a lack of oversight on this, and improper mismanagement of this, and it's like all these things take away from this art form. I think, I mean, I'm a creator, I'm a writer, so when I look at these things, I will always have a bias towards, like, nah, these guys didn't get to finish making what they wanted to make. This is unfinished. This is unfair to them. This is not their final vision. I think the goal of any creative studio is to bring their vision as much as possible to fruition. It's like communicating. Like, the idea you have in your head right now is an idea. You want to tell me that idea. Okay, well, now you have to condense that idea down into a language that you speak and then deliver it to me. and then I have to interpret what you made. So the original idea in your head, that concept, is so diluted from whatever it is that I've received. But that's just communication. Art is a form of communication. Music is an expression of, you know what I'm saying? It's an expression. Like it's all the same thing. You're trying to express these things, but there's so many limiting factors. Like it's okay for it not to be perfect, but for it to be like almost intentionally kicked to the side, you know what I'm saying? It's so frustrating. You're not going to see movies like the '90s anymore. The Mask, like Jim Carrey's The Mask, like people don't make movies like that because it's hard to just commit to something like that. Audiences can't watch stuff like that and dispel their belief anymore. They've seen it so many times in so many cartoons, but in the '90s, that was like, Jim Carrey's a madman. How's he doing all that? Like he's just doing all these crazy things. Again, The Matrix, like seeing those like revolutionary cinematography, revolutionary soundtrack, like incredible writing. And again, Jim Carrey, The Truman Show. Ah, man, just I don't want to do the list, but like Fight Club, The Blair Witch Project, The Big Lebowski,
Seven.
Jurassic Park, Seven, yeah, Scream, Pulp Fiction, Starship Troopers.
American History X.
Oh man, I love Edward Norton, dude. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite actors. He's so smooth. And Disney movies. That's the other thing too. Is like the '90s didn't just create a bunch of really good movies. It made entire genres of people. Like Disney adults are a direct product of '90s Disney movies. Like that's who we are now, Disney adults. That's us. That's millennials and late Gen X. You know what I'm saying? Like we're Disney. That we are the Disney adults. That's our generation. I'm not. I would never be caught dead on some silly nonsense like that. But but look me in my eyeball and tell me I don't love Hercules. Of course I do. Hercules, Pocahontas, Mulan, The Lion King. It's almost like a perfect movie. Like The Lion King. There's name something that's wrong about The Lion King. Like you really can't. Like it's cohesive, it's well written, it's well acted, it's well produced, it's well edited. The music's incredible. Like it's really well done. Disney was able to. I mean, their business model is as lucrative and as sound as it is as today as it was back then. It's that they make content for children and it's family friendly. And so as those kids get older, the content stays relevant to them because it's family friendly still, but it also now is marketed to their kids. And so the cycle continues where they have lifelong fans. I think it's safe to say that Disney movies today are still really good. Frozen and Frozen 2, Tangled, oh man, like Moana, like those are really good Disney movies. Like really good Disney movies. They're good movies in general. But they don't have a running streak like the '90s did.
Which
I
is
feel like in the
interesting
'90s,
because you think like when a movie, because with time some movies might be like, okay, it grew out
Yeah.
of this and like it didn't age well, all of that, but it's
didn't age
just
well.
when you just watch them, it's like it's amazing. It just you still feel the tension and all of that. It's interesting how you talked about like it's kind of related to capitalism, and you mentioned how because they want to make money. I feel that because I was trying to come up with a reason, and I think back in the '90s there was this thought, which was probably proven later to be wrong, that if you want to make money, you have to make a good movie, which has been proven to be wrong, obviously, in the recent
Right.
years. Because in the end, the person pays before they watch, so
Yes.
they don't know technically what they're gonna watch. So all you have to do is just trick them into watching it, and then
That's correct.
you can take the money out of them. So I feel that back then there was just correlation that hey, good movie means good money, and which is obviously not the case anymore. Do you agree?
Yeah, for the most part, I think. I feel like there was a better economy back then. I feel like you got more for your dollar back then. Like it went further. Inflation was definitely not as impactful as it was back then. So, I mean, a Hollywood star making Hollywood money. I mean, I think honestly, like just working on B movies was probably like a lucrative career. Like you could probably sustain a living working on Sci-Fi Channel movies or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that was a sustainable career. You can't do that now. You need like a second job. You need like a second job, and then you're an actor on the side until your acting takes off, if it does, and then you better have a backup plan anyway. But like back then, you know what I'm saying, you could it goes far, and movies weren't expensive that expensive either. Like the whole industry was flush with cash at that point, because it's like, oh yeah, you can get into acting. The population hasn't blown out of control yet. The population of this industry hasn't blown out of control yet. So I mean, getting in is still very possible. Making some once you're in, you know what I'm saying, making something's very doable. You can go into just about any industry. It doesn't need to be adult film. It can be kids movies, or it can be horror movies, or it can be dramas, or you know what I'm saying. It was all pretty relevant. Yeah, I think again that the dynamic has changed, for moviegoers and for the movie makers.
So you really think it's that right now the focus is too much capitalist to the point where the art went bad? Because the way I see it, and I could be wrong, is that all these production companies, because if you think about it, they don't make money. Because if you want to pay $200 million on a movie, and then there's the marketing and all of that, you are basically taking a lot of risk with no guaranteed return at all. Like, you can always invest it in the stock market or whatever, or any other business, and make a lot more money. So why would they do that? And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, maybe this is just money. Maybe the movie business is just money laundering. No,
It makes money. Yeah.
Really?
No,
No.
they put the business, they put the money, they put this money into this film, and then the film returns 500 million, and they're like, hey, all right, made our money back and then some.
But that's not a good investment. Like, if you put in 300 million and get 4 years later 500,
You're,
I mean,
you're
not,
correct. That's absolutely correct. That's why you see, like, oh yeah, they made a movie for 138 million, but it's only grossed 338 in 3 weeks, and people are like, oh, that's not good. It's like, it made money, yeah, but it's not a good return on investment. It's not making billions. You know what I'm saying? Or you look at movies like Paranormal Activity. That movie cost some shoestrings and lint and pocket dust, like, to make, because they shot it in one house with 4 cameras and some standalone cameras and 2-3 actors. It was genius, and they made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of it because the return ratio is so high. Like, the cost to make it so cheap. I think that, again, like, there are banger movies out, like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, incredible game. Now, yeah, it came out. Revenant came out in 2012. That is a phenomenal movie. I can't stop thinking about it. Interstellar, like, these are incredible. Like, that's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Actually, Interstellar is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Nice.
It blew my mind. I love physics. I love string theory. I love spatial reality. I think that stuff's all super duper interesting. That movie was really cool. They couldn't have made that in the 90s as cool as it would have been. You know what I'm saying? You look at, like, 2001 Space Odyssey, like, I think that's like a 70s, 80s movie. And it's like pushing the boundaries of what they were capable of back then. But you look at movies like Interstellar now, it's not only pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of with cinema, with the CGI, but it's also pushing the bounds of, like, what you can even relate to regular audiences. This is some pretty, it's not high level physics, but it is moderate. I'm saying moderate level physics. You're pushing on an audience. You know what I'm saying? We have higher expectation of our audience. The audience is a higher expectation of the movies themselves. I think that when these companies invest in these movies, they go into it knowing kind of what they're getting into. Like, they already know who the director's going to be, for the most part. They kind of know who the cast is going to be, like, or at least they want to. That's information they want to know. Or at least, if they want to know, they probably want to have an impact in choosing that stuff, because money talks. I don't think that the art has fully suffered. I don't think the art stopped, obviously, because, again, there are Oscar-winning movies coming out that are legitimately phenomenal films. I wholly expect to see Sinners
okay.
come in with some Oscars, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
So you ended up watching it. Why didn't you tell me?
I haven't yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
So
I'm so excited.
So you think it's gonna win because you've been told?
When was the last time you talked to someone about a movie and no one said anything bad about it?
Okay.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
People always have complaints. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
But again, that's a phenomenal movie that just came out. But that's Ryan Coogler, though. That's a director who prioritizes his art. He makes sure his whole team is on the same page about this art they want to create, and he's willing to sacrifice and to make some affordances to see that vision comes true. I think that was kind of the standard in the 90s. Like, all right, director, writers, producer, like, what do y'all want to see? Well, let's make it happen. And instead of all these shortcomings and money shortages, like these things, these limitations that are ultimately financially linked, like, they were free to not have to worry about that.
By the way, I have a take. I don't know if it's a reach, but I feel that maybe one day Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan would be like the greatest director actor duo we ever had, like literally all time. And
Yeah.
I feel they have the credentials to reach that point. I don't know. Do you agree?
I do agree. I think Ryan Coogler is a phenomenal director. I think he's a good storyteller. I think he has good. I think he's an actual movie fan. I think he really likes movies, and so he understands. Like it's a fan made thing. That's the benefit of like someone who loves their craft versus like someone who's just paid to be in this thing. When you're paid to be there, they might be professionals. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do their job really well. But someone who loves their job, it's fan made. That's why it's great. That's why it's great.
But I want to discuss again the whole capitalism aspect. So you really think that it's worth paying $200 million on a movie that, I mean, let's say you're a businessman, okay? Would you put $250 million on a movie on the risk that it might be a bad investment when you have other more secure options that will probably even make you more? So that's why it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I just feel it's just money laundering.
A great question. Yeah. So my return question would be, is it a sequel to a 90s or 2000 movie, or is it an Avengers movie? If it's an Avengers movie, I will most certainly invest $200 million of my company's money into it because I know that movie is going to make billions of dollars. I will have a positive return. If it's a sequel to a 90s movie, if it bombs at the box office, you lose. Your production company loses. You just lose money. You don't get the money back. You don't get your return. Like, you lost. Like, you invested and nothing came back from it. And now y'all are short. That happens. It's unfair, but that does happen.
It's just, this seems stupid to be like, let's talk about a movie that's none of the two. Like, I don't know, Gemini Man. It cost like $300 million. It botched. It didn't even break even from this perspective.
Will Smith. Man, oh man.
So, the way I see it, and I could be wrong, I don't have any proof. It's just that all these businessmen, they use those production companies just to launder their money. And look, let me just get close to celebrities and make my connections. And okay, I mean,
if I was rich, if you were rich, you could either be a crypto bro, or you could just invest in art. Everyone invests in art differently.
Yeah.
Some people buy shares of incredibly expensive portraits.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you buy art? If you have a piece of art and it's $10 to buy it, I buy it from $11. Guess what happens as soon as I buy it from you? The value increases. It's not a house. This is art. So we invest in art different. It got real bad when cryptocurrency was going, or the what are those freaking things? The pictures, the
NFTs.
NFTs. Those were popular. That's art.
Yeah.
People were just investing in art differently.
It's art, yeah.
If you come up on if you come up on a couple $1 billion, don't be afraid to throw some money at Hollywood. Yeah, you're gonna see a return. Make your little production company, drop $250 million. Ryan Coogler, walk away. Ryan Coogler's one of those directors where, like, if he comes up with a project, people are like, yeah, here's my money. You want some money? I'd love to give you some money because I want that money back. I know I'm gonna get it back. That's what it is.
But the problem is, again, back to my point, they invest in something where they kind of know that they're not getting their money back. Let's not say they may not get it. They're just not getting it. And if they do get it eventually from a time value of money perspective, because you always have to look at it from that way, right? Because let's say you put $100 million. If you do nothing with it and just keep it in the bank, you're going to have like whatever.
Right.
100 million plus something later. So,
look at Fight Club. When Fight Club first came out, it bombed.
Yeah.
Fight Club, Fight Club's first drop in film bombed. It was not well received by critics or fans, or showgoers.
Blade Runner.
But now it's a cult classic. It's in the list of the greatest '90s movies of all time because it is one of the greatest '90s movies of all time. It's actually a phenomenal movie. It's really, really, really good. But like now it's made up for itself. Imagine being the producer for that, you know what I'm saying? Investing in that movie with Edward Norton and Brad Pitt, and it bombs. And you're like, what's happening? No, all my money. And then, you know what I'm saying, 30 years later, you're like, oh, I'm stupid rich. Who cares? I have infinite money now. It comes forever.
Yeah. Now, why am I making that point on the fact that we have just bad investments? It's because I also feel the reason the quality went down these years. Now, we did have great years. I think 2019 was probably one of the best years we had. But I feel that because there's just so many people involved in the industry, a lot of the good stuff is just getting lost in the crowd. And yes. I feel this is a big issue that we're facing. I hope it gets better with AI because AI can like filter stuff. But when you're a producer and you sit on your table and you have all these stacks of scripts, okay, what are you going to do? You're not going to read all of them. It's just not going to happen. So how are you going to decide which one you're going to produce? Either someone knows someone who knows someone, or there's an element of luck to it. So I feel that that's the issue we have right now. A lot of good stuff is just getting lost in the crowd.
Yeah, and that's the same for the people who are trying to get into the industry. I personally know so many talented cinematographers. I know talented script writers. I know talented scene designers. Because, you know what I'm saying, I went to USC, obviously. Obviously. Yeah. But I have an eye for talent. When I meet people and they're good at things, I recognize their talent. And I recognize that in them. You know what I'm saying? Real recognize real. I'm like, all right, this is a talented person. They have a specialized skill set. You know what I'm saying? But they're not in the industry. And there are a bunch of people who are just as talented, if not more talented than them, also not in the industry. And they can't get in. And it's because of this reason. It's an overpopulation. Everyone across the world recognizes that this industry is massively lucrative. You can make a lot of money in this industry. You could also just find stable work in this industry if you got in, you think. But the reality is, like, you kind of have to know people. It's who you know, it's who you're with, it's who you're lined up with, and it's not a matter of quality. I think the mediocrity argument for a lot of industries like falls away when like we start applying cost effective reasoning to it, because it's not cost effective. It's not cost effective to find the best person for the job. It's not cost effective to find the perfect person for the job. But they are the best person for the job. We acknowledge it. We understand it. It's just not cost effective. And if your job is to be cost effective, then finding the best person for the job is not your concern. So now you've run afoul of the art. Now the art's not getting done. Now instead you're just trying to finish the project because that's your job. Your job is to finish the project. But it's like, dang, what about the art? The writers aren't.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, we are definitely. I don't want to use the word oversaturated because we always welcome new ideas, but we definitely have a lot of supply of artists lined up to take whatever they want. So if you think about it in theory, that should be really good because the better the competition, the more likely you are that you get a better product, right? But this is definitely not the case because maybe it's a whole circular thing because all they care about is just, okay, how much money do I make? So maybe I don't have to hire someone who has good acting experience. I could just bring someone who has a lot of Instagram followers. Okay, this person has 2 million, 3 million. Okay, I don't care how good of an actor they are. I don't care what kind of performance. I don't care what kind of performance they give me. They're gonna just give me a lot of people to watch the movie, and I'll just hire them, and that would be it. So maybe the influencer culture definitely played a role here, but
it has definitely created a new phenomenon. I think it's not uncommon for Disney kids to go on to become movie stars. That's not uncommon, but it is uncommon for internet celebrities to move into another genre because internet celebrities are a relatively new phenomenon. They didn't exist in the 90s. This is a new phenomenon, the internet celebrities. specific social media app celebrities, like Instagram famous. I'm Snapchat famous. I'm TikTok famous. Like that is a very new phenomenon. And since they're all kind of different saying versions of media, it'll be interesting to see where they translate. As you can see, Vine stars are working. A lot of Vine stars, King Bach and whatnot, like they have jobs. They do a lot of acting jobs and whatnot. So that's cool. I'm saying they do have work. They're not stinking rich celebrities. They're not A-list Hollywood celebrities, though. They're not world famous going on tour. They're just working. And it's like, well, that's good at least. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's cool, really. But I mean, that's kind of the limit of like trying to get into entertainment outside of entertainment, like trying to go the unusual route. You're really not gonna be Oprah. Like it's hard to do the Oprah thing. Like I think the American dream like that is not realistic for people. They need to let that go. That is a phenomenon. That there's a reason why she's Oprah. You're not naming your Aunt Debbie because she didn't do that. No one else is doing that. Only Oprah can do that. It's hard to be a billionaire.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
It's a big responsibility. I definitely agree, but
you gotta have the right things intact.
Yeah, I mean, hard is relative, right? Because what does hard in what way? Like you have people in Africa starving and
exactly
living on less than $1 a day. So I don't know. It's just I don't want to have that discussion. But I mean, you go ahead. You want to say something about that?
No, it's good. I think but I also think about like Adam Sandler movies. Like that is a guy who in the 90s made movie. All right, so first of all, he started on SNL. Adam Sandler, if you don't know, got famous on Saturday Night Live with a bunch of other people in the late 80s, like Chris Farley and Dennis Quaid, I think, and other people like. But then he starts making movies. His Happy Gilmore production company. Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Big Daddy, The Water Boy. Oh my God, that's one of the funniest movies of all time. Adam Sandler makes these movies, and they just blow up. His movies go crazy, like they do insane numbers, and they're low production. These are like Saturday Night Live budget level movies. Like, like it's just a bunch of actors who are goofing around. Like it's literally Adam Sandler and his friends. Sorry.
What happened?
There was a massive lightning crash, like thunder crash just now. It's still going. That was insane.
You're in LA?
Yeah, I'm in Long Beach. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That was unbelievable. I haven't heard lightning like that in Long Beach and like in LA. It was crazy. I was just sorry. Yeah. Don't edit that out. That was like unbelievable.
No, it's fine.
That was crazy. Anyway, but like Adam Sandler makes these movies and it's low effort, but at the same time, because like the 90s is this. It has this aesthetic. Adam Sandler in the 90s was an aesthetic. Like, he was the vibe. And it's so crazy to see, like, his whole career encompass the 90s aesthetic to where he's still making movies today off of that nostalgia. Like, don't talk about the recent Adam Sandler movies. Like, Uncut Gems, good, phenomenal, awesome, good job. Exactly. No more. There's no more good Adam Sandler movies recently. It's all over. We had it. I said it. Uncut Gems, really, really great. Yeah. After that, like we have to go all the way back to Click, and we don't talk about Click because it's super tragic, and you're gonna cry your brains out. So it's not. Why did he make that movie? That's so sad.
Yeah. I want to discuss. It's interesting you mentioned The Matrix because I noticed that across the newer generation. They're not at all a fan of The Matrix, which is quite interesting.
Too long to sit through. Too much to pay attention.
I mean, it's not just about the length of the movie. I think even the topic, they don't.
Yeah, it's too much to pay attention to. Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they need to be able to be on their phone while the movie's on. They need to be able to. They have to. No, I'm telling you, they do. They have to be doing something else, entertaining themselves while something else is happening. Oh, wow. Otherwise, they can't focus on this. And The Matrix is one of those movies that, like, for you to only, if you watch The Matrix half-minded, like halfway, you're only gonna be like, when the fight scene's happening. Oh, there's shooting happening. Nice. As soon as they start talking, you're gonna go, man.
You think Hugo Weaving is too slow for them?
I love him.
Yeah.
I would never say anything bad about Hugo Weaving. That's he's an elf.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand why would they not like such. Maybe the topic for them is just they see it as a cliche, like, oh, the machines are taking over the world. Um,
I don't think they I actually don't even think they get into that deep. I remember watching The Matrix as a child once. I think not the first time, but I remember it was kind of like, oh, I don't really care about the talking part. When are they going to get to the crazy action parts? But as like a teenager, I'm like, no, this is deep. This is gas. Actually,
yeah.
this is really. Oh, I need to think about this. Like, but I mean that's just again, it's like
I
what
mean,
movies are what was the last time you saw a movie that was deep like The Matrix? Recently. I mean,
recently.
Interstellar's pretty. I wouldn't say it's deep necessarily, but it is most certainly knowledge heavy. Like they drop a lot of information on you, and it's pretty high minded. So that's pretty fair. But like deep,
Like you mean philosophy deep and like
yeah,
probably everything everywhere all at once.
yeah, nice,
Yeah.
true, yeah. I would say that I think that I've heard that movie actually be compared to The Matrix. I've heard people say that's like
Oh,
the
really?
modern day Matrix. Yeah, I've
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that actually. I've read it. I've heard it. So I'll actually, yeah, I think that does make a lot of sense.
Trying to think of. Yeah, maybe in.
Like
Uh,
maybe like a horror movie, like Get Out, or maybe like
okay. Maybe
maybe
Parasite 2019.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
See, Parasite, there we go. That's a good one. But again, when you watch Parasite, like there's so many different lessons you can pull from it. Like it's for sure like a
Uh,
class conscious movie, but like at the same time,
it's not like philosophical. It's just more like social interaction. I feel it's not as deep as maybe The Matrix and like the levels that the Wachowskis went in. I still remember quotes from The Matrix. They're still in my head. You know, like Morpheus is like, "What is real? How do you define real? If real
yeah,
is everything you see, taste, and feel, then real is simply electrical signals going." And then there's like this whole monologue of Hugo Weaving talking about how we as humans we need problems in order to be able to survive. Like this is
I
probably
hate this place, this zoo. It's a prison.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's actually one of my favorite quotes. He's like humans are they're a virus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
From place to place.
It did make a lot of sense to me. So, but that's why I would never understand why the newer generation would hate on such a movie. I think it's just that they see it as a cliche topic of the machines.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, maybe it's just like the machines are taking over, and yeah.
But it's I don't know what the effect is. It probably hasn't been dubbed scientifically yet, but there's definitely an effect where things become so memed that is the version that is received by audiences, not the original version. It's almost like an irony thing, because that's kind of how irony works, kinda. But like, for instance, Darth Vader. Like, if you've never watched Star Wars for the first time, if you've never seen a Star Wars movie, you've most likely interacted with some form of media or a meme or a video or picture of like, Luke, I'm your father, like some version of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you actually go to experience Star Wars for the first time, no matter what order you do it as, like you get to that part, you're gonna be like, he's doing the thing, instead of being like lost in the moment and suspending your disbelief because now you've seen it as a joke. It's hard to be whatever.
Yeah. So
And
it's
so like,
hard
that's,
to get that shocking feeling of
ask anyone who's seen what is that parody Scary Movie. If you like the parody movie Scary Movie, have you
Yeah.
seen that?
I heard
Okay,
of
so
it.
like,
Yeah, go
oh
ahead.
my gosh. Okay, so that's in the early 2000s. Parody movies took off and it became like this phenomenon. And Scary Movie is one of the forefront leaders of that, who really took parody movies to the next level. Like AAA blockbuster parody movie. Like people are going to the cinema to see this movie. But they play on so many other horror movies and so many like horror movie tropes. But they actually like copy scenes from Scream, the horror movie from the '90s Scream. They copy scenes from that. So if you've never seen Scream before, like I know people who've seen Scary Movie and then went back and watched Scream for the first time and were laughing the whole time because
Yeah.
all they have is the context from this hilarious
Yeah.
killing scene,
Yeah.
and then you're in this real scene where no, it's not funny at all. It's actually kind of scary as hell, and it's like, oh wait, they're doing the joke. Like this is hilarious. And I think that's a thing that occurs now. We have to be cautious of when we introduce like younger audiences to older movies, especially like The Matrix. How many times have you seen The Matrix be emulated? How many times have you seen someone do the back bend dodge something? Thousands of times. Of course you have. Even if you've never seen The Matrix, you've seen that. So when you get to it,
Oh, it's already spoiled enough to
it's
the
already
core.
spoiled for you,
Yeah.
and you've already and your suspension, your disbelief is back. Now you're like, oh wait, they did this with bananas and coconuts in Madagascar penguin thing. Like I don't. This isn't serious to me. I don't care if he gets shot. Like whatever. So I mean that's just translating older media to younger audiences. It's like getting any millennial to watch like black and white movies, dude. Like it's like pulling teeth. I don't want to sit through something without color. What am I, old? What is this? Like it's the same thing.
It's definitely a little like it definitely takes you off when you see something that's like old, even though it's a little ageist because you still don't know how good it is, but it just this so interesting. Yeah, even though like with Sinners, I didn't have this issue, by the way. I mean, you didn't watch it yet, but
It's a modern day film. It's a modern day film from a modern day director. It's got all the cultural hits to match it to its environment. Though I learned this in college. We talked about this in college in one of my theater classes.
Okay, go ahead.
He says films are a time capsule. Films depict and represent the ages they were made in. Even if the films are period pieces from about, you know what I'm saying, from the 2000 BC, or if they're period pieces from the 70s. If a movie's made in 2020 and but it represents the 70s, you're going to see something that makes it modern. There's things they just can't fully hide, or shooting methods, or digital footage or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things you can't fake, that set the time period of the film that you're making. That relevance is very, very, very important to ticket sales. There's a absolute correlation because you're making the film for this audience. The Matrix wasn't made for this audience. It was made for us. It was made for us in 1999 when it came out. That's who it was made for. Perfect, actually. The turn of the millennium, Y2K is about to happen. Everyone's suspicious of machines. Keanu Reeves is hitting backflips and kicking motherfuckers, kicking people through walls. It's awesome. Today, we have dogs walking the streets. We have robot dog police walking the streets. We have robots delivering our food to us through delivery apps. Like, it's not so scary when it's outside your door, and also like it's not for our audience. They try to remake The Matrix again. We talked about this.
Oh yeah, the fourth one. I forgot it was a thing. That's right.
Keeps me up at night. I unironically love The Matrix, the first and second and third Matrix. I genuinely
you like the third one. I didn't like the third
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I do. I actually do. I actually think the second one, third one are pretty cool. I get that it's a little cringe with the bad CGI, like that's fair. But I do love the whole Matrix storyline, like Neo being the one and like the cycle repeating, and like, is he actually the cycle repeating, or is he actually the first one, or how many times does it happen? Like that stuff's really cool, and I love talking about the theory of it. But the fourth one sucks. Oh my god! Why is this movie so bad?
It did have a few funny moments at the beginning. I would give it that when they were like working with meta aspects with like Disney and like whatever the other company, Warner Brothers, and all of that. Mm-hmm. That was funny. I give it to them. I laughed a lot, but then later it just felt like a lecture or something. It just didn't go anywhere. And
it's like it lacks. It's like a lot of. It's honestly, it kind of reminded me of the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power show. It's like, yeah, the spirit is there, but the heart isn't. Like yeah, you have the sets and you have costumes and you have actors, but the actors aren't doing it for me, and the costumes aren't doing it for me, and the acting's not doing it for me, and the writing's not doing it for me. So I'm like, okay, well, you have the movie made, like it's here, I'm watching it. It's not great. This isn't good. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. Like,
yeah. Let's just start wrapping up the whole thing. What do you think of Shawshank Redemption? Do you think it's the best of all time or no? It
Not
is.
the
It is.
greatest movie of all time, but it's top. It's probably top 10 greatest movies of all time.
Okay.
It's up there. It's up there with like The Matrix and like uh, The Lion King.
Okay.
Like, we're talking about perfect movies, like Fight Club. Like, well, maybe not Fight Club. I don't know if I put that. I put Interstellar up there for sure.
I think the latest '90s movies I watched, like it's not recently. It was probably 2021, but I think that's the last time I watched a '90s movie for the first time. It was Good Will Hunting.
Oh my goodness, what a great movie!
Yeah.
Wow, what a great movie! You just don't know what to expect going into that movie. That's why I like that movie, because you just don't know what you're getting into.
And it's like it's like the storyline is so simple, you know. It's not like there's shooting and killing and like, bro, these people are coming and let's do this and
Major twist and a sequel follow on a cliffhanger. We don't need it. It didn't need any of that.
Exactly. It's just
so
they were talking how they wanted to make it cheap. They want to make all the scenes in the room so that it doesn't cost them much. So they kept a lot of things simple, and boom, you have one of the greatest movies of all time. It's interesting.
And it's organic, because every single scene feels real, like real life. When you have to shoot every single thing in CGI and a green screen, it makes it feel less real to the actors and to the audience. But in like movies like that, yeah, shooting on location, they don't like to do that nowadays. The advancement in technology for shooting on green screen has come so far because it's what everyone wants to do. No one wants to go shoot in a classroom anymore. But it worked. It worked.
Did it did. So let's compare, for example, a movie like Good Will Hunting, where the storyline and the acting was simple, as opposed to, for example, a movie like Gladiator, where things were heavy. But they were definitely two of the greatest movies of all time. So yeah, this is art. There's no set stone approach to things. You just have to do it the right way, and there you go.
You got to bring the vision to life. Not every single incredible adventure you have is going to be sailing across the seas. Sometimes it's going to be a conversation with someone you meet once or twice. Like, that's going to be those things that change your life. That's the same thing with storytelling. Like, all movies are is storytelling. It doesn't have to be this epic spiraling adventure. It can be a couple years in this class you have, like, and that changes who you are fundamentally as a person. That's why like writing is so hard, dude. I think we're about to have a thunderstorm. I'm tripping.
Oh my god!
It's been so long. But as long as you deliver, as long as you can tell that story the way you want to tell it, it can be anything. It can be anything. It doesn't need, that's why video games as a medium are so complicated sometimes, because it's like, okay, what's your game gonna be about? Is it a shooting game, driving game, sports game, fighting game, or adventure game? What are you gonna do?
For me, everything that feels special to me is the character. When I follow the journey of the character and see how they're going, this is why, and this is in the end is, I feel, the crucial point of any art or anything that you want to last on the long run. That series, if you have a series, I don't care how many stunts you do. I don't care about the visuals. I don't care about the general like specificity or the cute things you add or the originality. The most important thing is the characters and how their arc is moving forward, because that's how the story keeps going. You can get away with a movie with bad characters by compensating for other things, because it doesn't go for so long, because it's like a 2-hour movie. You can carry it with something else. You can carry it with the visuals, with the CGI, with all of that. But when it comes to something long term, it's all about the characters, because it makes it so specific to the point where it makes it unique, because in the end we're all unique. And that's how people are able to build their platforms online, the influencers. It's because they are able to build their uniqueness and showcasing it to the world. And if you want to do that throughout a long amount of time over the years, you have to tell us what your story is. What is your character? What is it about you that makes you unique? So for me, in a video game, if you want to give me something that's amazing as a video game, you want to show me what the characters are doing and how they're evolving in a good way. It's about the story, right? Like, you can show me all the killings and GTAs and all of the special stuff you can do, but what I care about in the end is what Carl Johnson's doing and how his story is evolving throughout the whole GTA universe.
Should have got on the damn train, CJ.
Yeah. We do have a comment in the chat. That's good. Our first comment. Trailers kind of ruin movies these days. We did talk about that yesterday, actually. How trailers are showcasing too much. How were trailers in the 90s? Do you know?
They were very
Or like how different were they from now?
So trailers today are very bad about showing you basically the entire movie.
Yeah.
They will show you just parts. They basically show you the most of the plot without showing you the fine details. The '90s movies had a much better job of. They was so first of all there was a '90s aesthetic they had to match, and so like as long as you followed like this little formula, you could really get away with not showing too much of your movie. You think of movies like Jim Carrey's The Mask. The first couple trailers were really mysterious. Like you didn't understand that Jim Carrey was going to put on this mask and transform and turn into a psycho runaround dude. Like you had no idea that was going to happen from the trailers.
Yeah.
Same for the trailers for like Jumanji. You did not know that board game was going to create havoc in that whole city. You could not have known. You thought you were about to go on some kind of jungle adventure for sure. You knew there was a mystical element from the way the soundtrack sounded like this stuff, but you could not possibly have gathered that playing a board game would have created lions in your attic. Like there's no way you would have known that. And same for like The Matrix. Like it really played on that turn of the millennium, like cyberpunk neo future vibe, where it's like, oh, this is the potential future. Robots are now, like kind of thing. It was actually really cool. But that's the thing. They were cool trailers. They were trailers to get you excited for the film, and they, you know what I'm saying, if it was coming out, so you wanted to go see it. There was definitely a noticeable difference between straight to like blockbusters, movies that go to theaters, and then straight to VHS. There's definitely a drop in quality of trailers like that, though. But again, as long as they followed that formula, they were pretty much.
Yeah, I would not know because all the '90s movies I watched were because of word of mouth, right? So, and I'm a person who doesn't like to watch trailers because I don't like any spoilers. So, we did discuss it yesterday. In
Oh, you scared the fuck out of me.
what is that?
I'm so sorry.
Everyone, all right?
Yeah, so sorry. Hope you just cut that part right. My bad.
No, that's fine. As long as everyone's all right.
Someone came home, but I saw them only in the reflection of the mirror. I didn't. This is why I can't have one headphone on. I get paranoid. I gotta. Oh man. Okay. Sorry.
No, we're good. We're good, man.
I was about to be up.
Okay, no, we're good, man. We're good. We're good.
Man. All right.
We're good.
You're about to hear some real ruckus over here.
No, we're good. We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Okay.
I think let's just end it because I think anything
here.
I think anything we say after that is just us bombing. So let's just
Yes.
let's just end it here. Okay, thank you everyone who is following. We will try to do one about millennials and talk about the millennial generation in general. I feel that would be some interesting topic to discuss, and we'll talk also about unemployment. We'll just have to schedule it, and yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for keeping. Thank you for our first comment, by the way. I want to give it